One beast, and only one, howls in the woods by night. The wolf is carnivore, incarnate, and he's as cunning as he is ferocious. Once he's had a taste of flesh, then nothing else will do. These immortal words from Angela Carter's The Company of Wolves weave together a story of dark fairy tales that reminds us why our ancient ancestors feared the dark. In the embrace of night, where shadows converse with the rustling leaves, a creature of both myth and marrow emerges. Across cultures and epochs it wears many guises: werewolf, lycanthrope, loup-garou, each name a whisper, a chill that dances down the spine, a testament to its enduring haunt within our collective dread. From the Old English werewolf, a blend of were, meaning man and wolf, alongside the term lycanthrope, derived from the Greek lycanthropos, meaning wolf-human, emerges a tale intricately woven into the very fabric of our darkest folklore. This narrative stands as the ultimate embodiment of a nature divided. The werewolf, or lycanthrope, exists as a being that treads the precarious line between man and monster, navigating the realms of the known and the unfathomable. Tonight, we peel back the fur skin to gaze into the heart of this ancient terror. For within the chronicles of mankind and the bloodlines of the earth, the wolf is indeed carnivore, incarnate. Welcome, dear friends, to SkaryTales. Belief in the ability to transform one's body into that of an animal traces back to time immemorial, to the very dawn of our collective consciousness. In the hallowed chambers of Les Trois Frères, nestled deep within the earth's embrace, stands the enigma of the sorcerer. A figure part human, part beast, etched into stone 15,000 winters past. Was he a shaman, a conduit to the spirits, or the earliest image of a man transcending his flesh to commune with the wolf? These ancient strokes of charcoal and ochre capture a narrative far older than words, a narrative of transformation. Beneath the earth, sheltered from the turning skies, our ancestors left us a legacy in shadow and silhouette, a legacy that whispers of the beast within, waiting to be awakened by the moon's call. And so it seems the primal dance between man and wolf was choreographed by nature's hand, long before the first tales were ever told beside the fire's glow. In the annals of ancient lore, the epic of Gilgamesh unfolds, a saga of divinity and mortality. We encounter a narrative woven through the mists of time, centered upon Gilgamesh himself, a being not merely of flesh and blood, but of divinity, son of Lugalbanda, whose reign is etched into the stone tablets of history nearly 5,000 years ago. Into this tale of power and seduction steps Ishtar, goddess of the vast dichotomies of existence, fertility and desolation, passion and warfare. It was Gilgamesh, the god-king, who ensnared her celestial heart. With intentions cloaked in desire, she approached him, her advances laden with the promise of divine affection. Yet Gilgamesh, wary of the fickle tempest that was Ishtar's love, spurned her. He conjured the memory of a shepherd, a mere mortal who dared to love a goddess. This young shepherd, in his naivete, had laid offerings at her shrine, hoping to capture her eternal favor. For a time, Ishtar indulged this adoration, basking in his reverence as one might the sun's fleeting warmth. But as the seasons turned, so too did Ishtar's whims. With a caprice as chilling as winter's first frost, she cast him aside, not as a man but as a wolf. Abandoned to a fate most grim, he was savaged beneath the moon's indifferent gaze, torn asunder by the very hounds he once commanded. Such is the peril woven into the song of adoration with the divine. In the tale of Gilgamesh and the forsaken shepherd, we find a somber lesson, that the line between love and ruin is as thin as the blade of a crescent moon. This tale of lycanthropy's ancient echo resounds through the halls of time, a testament to transformation's power and the enduring human fascination with the boundary between man and beast. In the year 425 BC, within the hallowed halls of history and the whispers of mythology, we find the Neuri, an ancient tribe whose story treads the fine line between the known world and realms beyond mortal men. Herodotus, the venerable chronicler of antiquity, brings us tales from the edge of the Scythian world, where the Neuri dwelled amidst the flowing veins of the Desna, Pripyat, and Dnieper rivers. Driven from their ancestral lands by a plague of serpents, a calamity as biblical as it is ominous, the Neuri sought sanctuary among the Budini. This migration, born of necessity, weaves a thread of the supernatural into the fabric of their history, setting the stage for a legend most extraordinary. Among the most captivating of Herodotus's accounts is the tale of transformation that clings to the Neuri, a tale of men turning to wolves under the cold embrace of the moon, not as a curse laid upon the few, but as a rite that embraced them all. For several days each year, man and wolf became indistinguishable, only to return to human form as if awakening from a dream. Though Herodotus himself cast a shadow of doubt upon these tales, his words have endured, etched into the very bones of history. The legend of the Neuri challenges the boundaries of our beliefs, standing as a testament to the myriad of wonders that ancient peoples held to be true. Within the countless stories of Greek mythology, we find a tale first penned by the observant Pausanias, and later by the poetic Ovid in his Metamorphoses. A tale of divine retribution unfolds, a tale that stretches across the vastness of time, reaching back to the 2nd century BC. King Lycaon of Arcadia, a figure ensconced in the power of his realm and the shadows of his deeds, dared to defy the gods. In an act of hubris or madness, he sought to deceive Zeus himself, who had descended down from Mount Olympus in the guise of a mortal man, by offering the flesh of a sacrificed child as a meal. The response from the heavens was swift and merciless. Zeus, the Sky Father, the arbiter of justice, cast his judgment upon Lycaon, cursing the once mighty king. As the legend states, he tried to speak, but his voice broke into an echoing howl. His ravening soul infected his jaws. His murderous longings were turned on the cattle. He still was possessed by bloodlust. His garments were changed to a shaggy coat and his arms into legs. He was now transformed into a wolf, save for his eyes, which remained human. This ancient myth, a cautionary tale of divine vengeance, marks the genesis of the werewolf myth in Western civilization. King Lycaon's fate stands as a stark reminder of the thin line between man and monster, the sacred and the profane. From the ashes of Lycaon's once great kingdom arose the enigmatic cult of Zeus Lycaos, deep in the heart of Arcadia, upon the slopes of Mount Lycaon, Wolf Mountain. Whispers of a mysterious festival reached the ears of mortals and gods alike. As recounted by the philosopher Plato, every 9 springs, when the world anew shook off the chill of winter's embrace, the Lycaea was held. This was no ordinary gathering, though, but a ceremony of profound and arcane rites, offering up a feast to challenge the boundaries of man and nature. The day's plate was laden with delectable morsels of animal flesh, each bite more succulent than the last. Yet, amid the feast lay a singular piece of deception, a solitary scrap of human flesh cunningly disguised among the bounty. For the unfortunate soul who, in ignorance, partook of this forbidden offering, a fate most peculiar was said to await. Transformed under the ancient curse of Lycaon, man would turn to wolf, condemned to roam the wilds, haunted by the taste of his transgression. To reclaim his humanity, the accursed had but one path, a vow of abstinence from human flesh, the flesh of the domesticated for 9 long years. Until the festival's return, he must resist, lest the beast within claim him holy. Cannibalism, the consuming of one's kin, and lycanthropy, the transformation of flesh and soul into that of a wolf, were whispered to be among the rites performed in the shadow of Zeus Lycaos. Such was the power attributed to this sacred peak, a place where man sought to touch the divine, only to find the beast within. In the eerie silence that followed the rites, as the participants descended from the mountain, they carried with them the weight of their actions, a reminder of the thin line between humanity and the primal forces that dwell in the heart of nature. In the annals of the 2nd century AD, Pausanias, a chronicler whose journeys painted the map of the ancient world with words, offered a glimpse into practices shrouded in the mists of time atop Mount Lycaon. He speaks of a place where earth meets divine, where rituals of old whispered to the present. In front of the altar there are 2 columns towards the rising sun. The gilded eagles on them are even older than the columns. At this altar they offer a secret sacrifice to Zeus Lycaos. I could see no pleasure in pursuing inquiries about this sacrifice. Let it be as it is and was from the beginning. While the layman's eye may envision altars of towering stone, the sanctuary dedicated to Zeus Lycaos bore a far more primal mark, an ancient ash heap, a silent testament to centuries of sacrifice laid upon its ground. Here, amidst bones gathered through the ages, the line between man and the divine blurred. Adjacent to this mound of ash and memory lay the Temenos, a realm set apart where the laws of man and nature held no sway. A land consecrated to the gods, it was said to be a place beyond the reach of shadows, where neither human nor beast could cast their silhouette upon the sacred earth. Into this hallowed ground, Pausanias whispers of a dire fate for those who dared to tread, sacrifice, or a curse to carry to their grave within the span of a year. In the waning years of the 19th century, beneath the silent watch of Mount Lycaon, a quest to unearth the echoes of the past commenced. Spearheaded by K. Contopoulos and later continued by K. Kourouniotes, the Greek Archaeological Service sought to peel back the layers of earth and time. What they unearthed was a sanctuary steeped in the mystique of ancient rites. A circular altar of blackened earth, its perimeter stretching 30 meters across, standing as a silent sentinel of the rituals it once embraced. Nearby, the Temenos whispered of sanctities and prohibitions, realms where the divine touched the mortal world. Moving forward to the year 2016, and the earth yielded a revelation most grim. Within the embrace of a stone-lined grave lay the remains of an adolescent boy, his skull a testament to the rituals of old, his silence speaking volumes of the human sacrifices whispered down through ages by Plato and Pausanias. The cult of Zeus Lycaos, a legacy of Lycaon's cursed lineage, stands as a haunting mirror to our past, where the pursuit of divine communion beckoned man to the edge of his own abyss. Within the chronicles of antiquity, Pliny the Elder, a sage of the ancient world, whispers to us across the ages of a peculiar rite of passage, a tale of transformation that skirts the boundary between man and myth. Drawing from the lore recounted by Euanthes, he unveils a yearly ritual steeped in the mystery of lycanthropy, deep within the heart of Arcadia. From the lineage of Anthus, one soul was selected, a destiny cast by the whims of fate. This man, set apart by lot, would embark on a journey to the shadowed embrace of an ancient marsh. There, beneath the boughs of a towering oak, he would leave behind the trappings of his humanity. Immersed in the chilling depths, a transformation ensued. Flesh to fur, man to wolf, he emerged to join the call of the wild, his former self submerged beneath the surface of beastly instinct. For 9 years he would roam the untamed woods of Arcadia, bound to the pack, a test of nature's cruel design. Should he resist the primal urge to taste human flesh, the marsh called him home once more. Crossing back through those waters became a rebirth of sorts, his human form restored, though marked by the passage of time, with a decade's weight carried in his eyes. Ovid, too, speaks of such men, wanderers of the night cloaked in wolf's skin, their howls a haunting melody beneath Arcadia's moon. Their stories, woven into the very essence of the land, serve as a reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the wild. In these ancient narratives, the line between man and monster blurs, revealing a truth as elusive as the shifting shadows of the forest. In the twilight of an era where the veil between the known and the unknown thinned, a tale unfolds, drawn from the depths of Petronius's world. Niceros, amidst the revelry of Trimalchio's feast, shared a story so peculiar, so fraught with the essence of transformation, that it beckons us closer to the fire's light. On a journey to Capua, under a moon as luminous as the sun at its zenith, Niceros and a soldier, grim as the underworld's keeper, ventured past the city's edge. Amongst ancient tombs, where whispers of the past linger, a transformation most bizarre took place. Before Niceros's disbelieving eyes, his companion shed his humanity as one would a cloak, his form twisting, reshaping into that of a wolf. With a howl that pierced the night, he vanished into the woods, leaving behind only the echo of his departure. What horror, what dread filled Niceros's heart as he found the garments petrified, a silent testament to the night's eerie work. His return, a flight shadowed by fear and disbelief, led him to a revelation as the dawn crept upon the world. The morrow bore witness to the impossible. Niceros found his companion, the valiant soldier, ensnared in the aftermath of his nocturnal escape, a lance wound mirroring the injury of the beast that had trespassed the night prior. Thus was revealed the nature of the turnskin, versipellis in the tongues of old, a man doomed to walk the line between human and wolf. A tale so chilling it severs the bonds of camaraderie and trust, leaving only the shadow of what once was. In Niceros's recount, we glimpse the ancient roots of our fear of the werewolf, long before the term itself was whispered into the night, but also the first mention of the moon in connection with the beast. It serves as a cautionary tale that even the bravest of souls are not immune to the curse that dances under the moon's watchful eye. In the halls of the ancients, where history and myth entwine, Pausanias recounts a tale most curious and chilling, the tale of the hero of Temesa. Not a hero of laurels and light, but one of shadow and dread, cloaked not in glory, but in the guise of the wolf. Once a man, now a spectre draped in wolfskin, this erstwhile companion of Odysseus was condemned for a crime so vile that death by stoning was deemed a just end. Yet from the grave his spirit rose, hungering for retribution, year upon year demanding a tribute most foul, the city's fairest maiden as his due. Enter Euthymus, valiant of heart, who upon encountering this ghastly revenant did what none before dared, challenged the spectre for the hand of the maiden sacrifice with whom he had fallen in love with, and reclaim the peace of Temesa. In a clash where the boundary between the living and the departed blurred, Euthymus emerged triumphant and married the young maiden. Within the hero's shrine, a painting whispers of the union between the heroic and the supernatural, a ghost in wolfskin, a testament to the ancient belief that to wear the skin of the wolf is to wield its power. Such was the root of a legend, the seed from which the concept of the werewolf would grow, intertwining the threads of lycanthropy with the fabric of the soul's journey beyond death. This tale, woven into Pausanias' writings, serves as a bridge to the tales of revenants across the breadth of Europe, where spirits like the ghost of Glam, with eyes of storm and hair of twilight, roam. It is here within these stories that the lines between werewolf lore and the tales of the restless dead blur, a haunting melody that echoes the eternal dance between light and shadow. And so the hero of Temesa stands, not as a beacon of victory, but as a sentinel at the gates of mystery, guarding the threshold where heroes and monsters, the living and the dead, dance to the ancient tune of fate and fear. Within the tapestry of ancient lore lie a myriad of paths that lead to the heart of darkness, to the realm of the werewolf. These transformations, marked by fear and fascination, spring from wells as deep and varied as the human soul itself. First, the heavens themselves might decree it, divine punishment meted out for hubris or sacrilege, as in the tale of Lycaon, transformed by Zeus into the very embodiment of his transgressions. Then comes the taboo of cannibalism, an act so vile it rids the veil between man and beast, casting the perpetrator into a lupine form, to roam the night ensnared by his own hunger. But perhaps most intriguing are the arts of witchcraft and sorcery, where knowledge and power intertwine. Circe, with a mere whisper and a draught, transformed the companions of Odysseus, revealing the beast within. Morris, as recounted by Virgil, wielded herbs and potions to cross the boundary of flesh and fur. And in the lands of Macedonia and Thrace, the Strix witches held sway, masters of transformation. shifting not merely to the form of the bloodthirsty owl, but to that of the wolf, a testament to their dominion over nature's darkest secrets. These methods, divine and profane, speak to a time when the world was awash in mystery and magic, where the boundary between man and beast remained thin. It was here in this liminal space that the werewolf roamed, born of punishment, hunger, and dark enchantments. As the world turned its pages from antiquity to the dawn of the Christian era, tales of werewolves, those beings that tread the line between man and beast, caught the watchful eye of the early church. It was a time of transformation, not just of men into wolves, but of belief and doctrine. St. Augustine, in his monumental work De Civitate Dei, delved into the mysteries of the ancient world, among them the phenomenon of lycanthropy. In Lupum Fuis Mutatum, he penned, transformed into a wolf. With the weight of his words, Augustine sought to unravel the threads of these tales, weaving them into the fabric of Christian thought. However, at the Council of Ancira, the church laid down its edicts, stark lines drawn against the backdrop of magic, witches, and the transformative curse of the werewolf. Whoever believes that anything can be transformed into another species or likeness except by God himself is beyond doubt an infidel. Thus spoke the church, an unequivocal stance that sought to banish the old ways to the shadows from whence they came. And so, as the first millennium gave way to the second, the tales of werewolves retreated, like shadows at dawn, into the mists of legend and fear. It was as if the world itself held its breath, the lineage of Lycaon lying dormant, waiting for the right moment to emerge once more. But legends, much like the moon, have their phases. And the werewolf, that ancient symbol of man's dual nature, was merely biding its time, waiting for the night to fall once again. For in the Middle Ages the howl would rise anew, echoing across a world transformed by faith, fear, and the flickering light of the unknown. As we stand at the crossroads of history and myth, we've traversed the shadowed path of the werewolf, from its origins shrouded in the mists of time to the watchful eyes of the early Christian church. In the tales of old, the werewolf was more wolf than man, a creature of the night, bound by the moon's call. Yet as the pages of history turn towards the Middle Ages, we'll discover how the narrative shifts, morphing like the werewolf itself. Tonight, we've revealed that the tale of the werewolf is as multifaceted as the beast itself. And as we venture further into the darkness, the stories become ever more entwined with our own. In part 2 of our exploration, we shall uncover how the werewolf, once a symbol of nature untamed, evolved to walk amongst us, a reflection of our deepest fears and desires. My dear friends, our tale for this evening has concluded, but our journey does not end here. Visit us again soon. Here in our little corner of the ether, we shall unravel another tale, a story imbued with fear, superstition, and perhaps the occasional sprinkle of fairy dust. We hope you enjoyed tonight's story. Join us again as we delve into the pages of history, folklore, and some things that make us wonder and perhaps others that make us shudder. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to SkaryTales. We're a small channel, but with your help, we'll continue to grow. Together, we'll explore the shadows and the light of the world's most enchanting and terrifying tales. Join us next time as we continue to unravel the legend of the werewolf, a creature that reminds us that the most profound transformations occur not in the light of the full moon, but within the shadows of the human heart. For the worst wolves are hairy on the inside. Sleep well and good night.